So this is what we use to measure. These are the metrics. You'll hear this word too. To see how effective the campaign was. Now, we know we're already on TV, radio, mail, the postcards. We are digital ads, and we are at events. And then we have in-store. TV, we know that's a commercial. The commercial looks like the radio, sounds like the radio commercial. That's a commercial. The postcards, they're a commercial too. They're an image that gets to the people's home. Digital ads, so we're on Google. YouTube, which is part of Google, but we'll separate them for this talk. And then and other social media platforms. These are the Facebooks, which is Meta, which is Instagram, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. At events, so we have banners and flyers. In stores, we have banners and flyers. Actually, we should probably get some banners at the in-store. Fly, and then the postcard and this. So all of this is out. This is out there in the public. How do we know that what's working? How do we know if all of it is working, if none of it is working, if one thing is working other than the other? We don't know. So that's where analytics come from. It's like we're going to take data and we're going to see what's working. Now, in these, it's really difficult because on TV, it's like you might watch a commercial 11 o'clock at night, you're not going to make an appointment at that time. So we're not going to have like a direct know if this is working, especially in radio as well. You listen to the commercial, you're driving to work, you're not making an appointment, but you heard it. So we have the impressions that we talked about. So we're going to get impressions. And up to this point, the game has been to increase those impressions. All of this, we're trying to get impressions. Hey, look at us. That's what we're doing. So we are trying to increase impressions. Once we get these impressions done, now we have to move into conversions. How many of these impressions turn into conversions? This is where the work happens. Because we're going to decide if something is working or not based on what was the goal. And if you don't have a clearly defined goal, then how do you know if one conversion is good or a million conversions? Like maybe one, that's all you wanted. You just needed that one person to do something. Then your goal is 100%. So the percentage of your goal is going to give you the success rate of your conversions and your campaign overall. So we're trying to get to that goal from here. So as we move forward, since we don't really have we have, for example, a number that they have tracking numbers. So we're using a specific number that if they call or they scan the postcard, we know where they came from. If they scan it, we know, okay, they came from here. If they call those numbers, but we'll have just like one master number. So we have one number, and then we're going to be able to tell that if they came from here. But also we have it in other places. So overall, the campaign is going to tell us that master number, how many impressions we may be able to figure it out. Google gives us better analytics. So we'll be able to tell how many views, how many clicks, all of that. We're going to get all of that data. But we have to move all of this into sort of a funnel. So we get all this data, and let's say we get 1 million impressions. Our goal was to convert, 50% of the impressions. We needed to get 500,000 conversions to meet that goal. But out of the 1 million impressions, we only got, 100K. So that tells us we got to them, because our impression goal was, let's say, 1 million. So we got 100% of that goal. We got the impressions. We got everybody to see it. But for some reason, these impressions did not convert into the goal. They did not do the action we wanted them to take. So what happens is now we have to dissect this. It's almost like a dead body in the morgue, and you have to open it up and figure out what was the cause of death, right? So you go, okay, our messaging here is working because our audience is working, right? Allegedly, right? Assuming that you have the right audience, because also you can also have 1 million impressions of the wrong people. Maybe 1 million impressions, but all of your ads were viewed in China. So how does that help you if you're trying to get people here in the United States? So you can get the wrong impressions. So you always got to make sure that your audience, the correct audience is getting your impressions. Now, I mentioned this because that's one of the failures. The wrong audience that views your commercial or your content will lead to not converting. So if they're selling you, women's shoes, and you're not a woman and you don't like women's shoes, you're gonna be like, get out of here. I'm not even gonna click on that. So you're not gonna be, your impression of that is not gonna make you convert. Now maybe you're a Nike fan and you're like, I love those. You're gonna click on it, and it's gonna take you. That's gonna be an impression because you're the right audience. So having one, the right audience. Two, I get the right audience, and you're a Nike fan, and I have a Nike ad, but I'll show you some dirty Nikes. It's a badly produced commercial. It's like not. It's like it just doesn't. You don't believe it. You're like, oh, that's kind of whack. That's gonna lead you not to convert, even though you're the right audience. The wrong creative or content or messaging will lead you to not convert. So if I'm talking to a young man, but I'm talking to him as I'm a lawyer, you should buy Nikes, it may not resonate with him. So he may not convert, even though he has the right audience. It's just the wrong creative. You didn't reach the right audience with the right content. So these two gotta be, these have to go together. It's plus, minus, right? So if you get the right audience and the right creative, that's a 100% win. If you get one of those, it's a 50% win, obviously. So you can easily know what's not working if your impressions are not converting. There's another part of it as well, though, because you may have, and this is like less likely, but you may have a technical issue. And so what that means is, okay, they went to the website's not working. They called, no one's picking up. They took the action, but you did not have the infrastructure to deal with that conversion. So that's going to hurt you as well. But this is the third because it's not a must. These two are a must. The technical issue, people that really want it, they're still, I go to the website, that didn't work, I'll go to another website, I'm gonna get it. So the technical issue, if you really connect with the right audience and the right content, the technical issue may or may not hinder your goal, but you don't want to have technical issues. You want to be ready to accept the conversions. So this is how we analyze the data. I'm just giving you like an overall, like big picture view. So because how do we know if someone went to an event and they saw a banner, and then later they came in and bought our product or did an appointment, made an appointment or whatever? How do we know? Is that we don't know, because that person might not even know why they're doing the purchasing decision. So I just wanted to give you like an overall view on, now that we did all the commercial, now we got all these things out, that you saw how we worked it. Now we are going to start gathering this data, and we have to measure if we have the right audience and if we have the right creative. And this has to be done quickly. Because even as you're moving through the campaign, there's adjustments that we can make. Maybe the commercial, we say something that just people don't like. Maybe we're saying something that people don't understand. Maybe just making a switch on a couple of words make people go, oh, okay, I got it now. Yeah, I want it. These got to be really flexible, and you got to be constantly on it, and you got to be hard on yourself, because when we create these campaigns, as you can see, we spend a lot of time in creating all of this, and then we don't want to we criticize, oh no, it's perfect, because we put so much work that we know that opening this back up, it's just like a mess, So, but you if you really want to get over there, which is where we really want to go, to the goal of 100%, you gotta be hard on yourself with the creative. You can't just go, that's good enough. No, there is no good enough. Never, ever, there is good enough. If you ever say that to yourself, you already failed. If someone says that to you, don't work with that person. If someone says, that's good enough, that's a person that says, I don't care. That's what they're saying. And it's like, no, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be great. Not good, great. Now, if you fall and you're just good, that's fine. But you try to be great. You don't stop trying to be great because of your skill or what you know or you don't know. You always have to be great. And when you have the creative and it's not great and it's just good, yeah, the job is done. But really the job is not done, because you're not getting the real job done. This is the real job. That's the real job. If we're not winning over there, we're just not winning. All of this is a waste of time and money. So wanted to give you that overview. This is what we're doing. So now, you understand everything here? Yeah. Any questions?